The Massey murder, a maid, her master, and the trial that shocked a country, is the story, true story, of a young woman who in 1915 shot and killed her employer. She was an 18-year-old British immigrant who was working as a maid for one of the members of the powerful Massey family. We start with the shot on the night, a cool February night, really chilly in Toronto in 1915, and we go on until the trial, the murder trial, only 3 weeks later. And you travel through the judicial system with Carrie, the accused. With this book, I wanted to do what I feel that in Canada we just don't have enough of, which is, what was it like to live back then, 100 years ago, if you were an ordinary person? I realized through a criminal trial, you can actually find out what does happen to people who are otherwise nameless. Toronto plays a huge part in this book because Toronto is almost a character in that it is the Toronto of yesterday. It's the Toronto which was dominated by a British elite, had the beginnings of a class system, and was really stuffy and with a tremendous snobbery among the sort of leading families. And I think what was so fascinating for me as I did all the research for it, is it reminded me so much of some of the cities that I grew up in the north of England. The Toronto I was looking at, the Toronto of today is so different. One of the great joys of doing this book was actually doing what I call the walk around research. Walking around the places that Carrie, who had been accused of the murder, would have actually walked around herself, looking at the house where the murder was committed, looking at City Hall, where all her legal proceedings happened, driving past Don Jail, very scary. So for me, I was looking around at all the buildings which still remain. What I'd like readers to take away from the Massey murder, Toronto has a long history, and in every generation it's evolved. It had great strengths then and wonderful stories to tell, but you can also see how far we've come, how much this city, this province, this country has changed. The Toronto Book Awards are a wonderful gift to all of us to recognize the importance of books, and in particular books that are looking at the people and the life and the authors and the history of Canada's largest city. It's a really important monument. Every year to be reminded how rich this city is and to recognize the book culture in it.